Okay, so let's talk about part two of talking about a cylinder. So here's our full cylinder right here. We've got those cross marks on top. And what we're going to do, well, talking about a cylinder again, that it is symmetrical. So if we have an imaginary line down the middle, it's the same distance, exactly the same on one side as it is on the other. So we're going to use that to our advantage. So let's go here. I've actually backed up my easel a little bit here, just trying to see where I am. I'm just trying to see where my top part is and my bottom part. So we're going to draw a line down the middle, an imaginary line. Please excuse the fact that my easel is tilted back just a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit skewed. So we know that we're going to have the same distance for each side. So, we make that decision there. And then we can go, okay, and put that same thing on the other side. And we put tick marks there as our guides for our lines. So let's put a set of them up here. And we'll put a set down here. Okay, so I'm going to use those as guides. And it's good to draw, or to put a couple sets of them, because that way you can really focus on drawing these lines and kind of connecting the dots right there. Okay, so there's our basic structure. Now, what we're going to do is we will put our ellipse on the top for the top of our thing. So I'm going to draw a cross line here, right there, and then kind of draw our rectangle around it. Now this is a kind of an awkward position for me, so I'm going to, once again, excuse wiggly lines. Okay, so there we go. There is our rectangle. We're going to put our contact points here, here, and here, and draw our ellipse just like we did in our last video. Okay, not the greatest ellipse in the world, but you get the idea. I tend to spin my paper to kind of make it easier for me to draw at angles, but there we go. Now, we look back at our cylinder here, and here we go. Just move this a little. So here we are, and when we look at it here sitting on the ground, we see the bottom of it, which is also, just like the top, a circle and an ellipse. But we're only seeing half of it. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw the whole thing. Because, yes, you could draw this one little curve and maybe it would look okay. But what we want to do is we want to make sure it is really correct. So what we want to do is draw this entire ellipse, including the half we can't see. So this is something I'm going to say many times. We're going to draw what we can't see, so what we can see makes sense. Okay. So basically, go back to our drawing. We're going to put one of these guys on the bottom. Here's our rectangle. That's a little bit, I'm going to shorten it up there a little bit. I'm going to put our contact points. And more or less, it's more or less, it is the same ellipse as we have up here. It does vary a little bit, but we're not going to get into that right now because I want to just get across these kind of facts. All right, not the greatest in the world, but there we go. So basically, we've drawn this entire thing so that this part, the part we can see, makes sense. So I'm just going to darken this in a little bit. Just to say, hey, these are our visible lines. When you do this drawing, though, what I want you to do is I want you to draw all your working lines. Don't, show your work, just like in a math problem. Don't erase them. All right. So we've got that. Now, the other thing we have on this right here is that we have yet another ellipse right here, this lip right here. So once again, we want to draw the whole thing like I said, we're going to draw what we can't see, so what we can see makes sense. So let's figure that this guy is maybe about here. About there. All right, so I'm actually going to use that as my center line for our rectangle. Now it's true with some things like this, a little bit wobbly here. With some things like this, what can happen is you might have a lot of ellipses in your way, it seems. If you ever have overlapping ellipses or overlapping anything in terms of your structure, feel free to just lightly erase, enough so we can see them, so we can kind of look at them, analyze them, stuff like that. All right, so we've got that. Move this farther away. All right, so let's darken up our lines just so you can see, so we can be clear about which are really the lines we're seeing. I can see this this ellipse is not quite the same size as this, but this is just to get across that fact. So obviously we can see the back of this whole ellipse on top. We can only see this part of the lip right here, you know. Okay, and there we go. Okay, thank you.